The barrel pressed against her temple was cold enough to steal her breath, but Commander Elena Ward didn't flinch. The warehouse air was thick with dust and diesel fumes, settling in the silence like a final warning. Her captor's hand shook barely, but enough for her to notice. And in that flicker, she understood something vital. He was far more afraid of her than she was of dying. She had lost teammates before, lost family. But she had never lost herself, and she wasn't about to start now. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're rewatching from. I love knowing who is listening. For a moment, Elena let her eyes drop, not in surrender, but calculation. The man smelled of metal and sweat, his breath hot on her cheek. Behind him, 5 more gunmen circled her team like vultures. They'd been ambushed during a humanitarian escort's simple mission. Safe route, predictable schedule. Too predictable. A bound at the wrists, bruised from the struggle. Elena wondered whether her last conversation with her younger brother would remain unfinished. She thought she'd never see him again. She was wrong. A murmur rippled through the room as the leader barked orders in a language Elena didn't recognize. But power didn't need translation. Fear always sounded the same. She could taste the tension, sharp, metallic, almost electric hand. She felt her heartbeat steady instead of rising. Years of training had built a fortress within her, one even a gun to the head couldn't breach. The gunman tightened his grip. "Give us the access codes," he snarled. "Or you die first." She met his trembling eyes and saw the truth. He wasn't a killer by nature. He was someone forced into violence by desperation. That was her moral dilemma, the one that gnawed at her, even now. How many men in this room were monsters, and how many were simply trapped souls? But hesitation could cost her team their lives. She exhaled slowly, letting her shoulders relax. The room interpreted it as submission. It wasn't. Outside, a faint rumble echoed, so soft it could have been the groan of an old pipe. But Elena recognized the whisper of coordinated movement, the synchronized shifting of boots on gravel. Her team, the backup she'd signaled with a subtle press of her heel against the ground minutes earlier. They were coming like a tide, silent, resolute, unstoppable. The leader shouted, pacing toward her, "Choose, the codes or your life." Elena raised her chin. Neither. Confusion flashed across his features, and in that half-second of hesitation, her world exploded into motion. The outer wall burst inward as her SEAL unit swept through like a storm. Flashlights sliced through dust. Boots struck concrete in perfect unison. Commands thundered across the warehouse with lethal efficiency. The air cracked with the force of non-lethal rounds and suppressive fire. Soldiers moved like shadows, fast, coordinated, precise. Elena seized her moment. In one fluid practice motion, she twisted her head away, clamped her wrists around her captor's gun arm, and drove her weight into his center of gravity. His shout was swallowed by chaos. The weapon skittered across the floor. Her wrists burned as the rope cut deeper, but adrenaline made her unstoppable. Her team surged toward her, Captain Reeves leading the charge. "Commander down." She dropped instantly as Reeves' baton arced through the air, striking her captor's wrist with a crack that silenced the room. The gunman collapsed, clutching his arm. Across the warehouse, hostiles surrendered one by one. Overwhelmed by the thunderous force of a unit trained to win with precision, not cruelty. But then came the moment that caught even Elena off guard. The man who had held the gun to her head stared up at her, not with anger, but with relief. Tears clung to his eyelashes. He whispered something broken English. "I didn't want to kill you." For a heartbeat, the world softened. Elena knelt beside him, ignoring the sting in her wrists. "Then today you didn't," she said, her voice steady, warm, painfully human. "Remember that." Around them, the warehouse shifted from battleground to aftermath. Civilians the gunmen had held hostage emerged from shadowed corners, some crying, some whispering prayers, others staring at Elena with awe, the calm she carried even in the face of death. When the last captive was escorted out, Reeves approached her. "You good, Commander?" Elena nodded, though a tremor finally worked its way through her fingers now that the danger had passed. "Let's get everyone home." Outside, dawn broke softly, turning the sky a gentle shade of gold. The kind that reminded her that survival wasn't just about strength, it was also about mercy, timing, and the courage to hold on to your humanity even when the world tried to take it. Because courage doesn't shout, it steadies, it protects, and it rises when everything else falls. And somewhere in that sunrise, the echo of the moment she stared down the barrel of a gun found its quiet ending. If this story moved you, make sure to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Your support keeps whispered words alive, and every story alive with it.